First popularized in the 1957 issue of Life magazine, magic mushrooms have made their way into modern society.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse.
From Nixon's war on drugs to movies like This Is the End, the message is clear. Magic mushrooms are dangerous and bad. Or are they? In the last 2 decades, there's been a re-emerging academic interest in this funky fungus. Scientists want to know how psilocybin, the main psychoactive component of magic mushrooms, can treat disorders like depression and anxiety.
Say you went to the doctors and got diagnosed with depression. You'd probably get prescribed an SSRI. If you got diagnosed with anxiety, you might be put on benzodiazepines. But what if these mainstream drugs don't work for you? We're in need of new drugs, and perhaps the answer lies within an old drug. Psilocybin is a secondary metabolite found in many mushroom species. When taken orally, psilocybin is dephosphorylated and converted to psilocin. Psilocin is the active metabolite that acts as a non-selective serotonin receptor agonist. Like other psychedelics, psilocin is structurally similar to serotonin. The active metabolite's reputation for inducing hallucinations is attributed to its high affinity for 5-HT2A receptors, which are concentrated in the cerebral cortex. So, what does psilocybin have to do with depression?
In the brain, there are networks in which functional connectivity forms between specific regions. One of these networks is the default mode network, or the DMN. With its regions found in the cerebral cortex, the DMN is active when your mind is not focused on a task, like when your mind wanders during the Phar562 lecture. Hyperconnectivity within the DMN has been associated with depression. One group found that, after 1 dose of psilocybin, connectivity within the DMN decreased, while global connectivity in the brain increased. However, in a follow-up study in patients with treatment-resistant depression, DMN integrity returned the day after and was accompanied with a decrease in depressive symptoms. This led them to propose the reset mechanism. Abnormal connectivity within the DMN may contribute to depression. The acute effects of psilocybin cause disintegration within the DMN, but once the drug wears off, these connections are reformed in a way that doesn't manifest the original disease state.
In Canada, one of the leading causes of disability are mental illnesses. However, people experiencing psychiatric disorders sometimes cannot find solace in the pharmacological treatments commonly recommended today. Luckily, there are clinical studies which have placed this fungus under the looking glass. Several studies have been done in end-stage cancer patients with depression and anxiety where a single higher dose of psilocybin had positive long-term effects for up to 6 months in regards to decreasing anxiety and depression while increasing quality of life and optimism. All the sessions were accompanied by either psychotherapy or support from trained staff. A couple of subjects from clinical studies reported experiencing some level of hypertension, which is due to the presence of 5-HT receptors in the periphery that regulate aspects of cardiovascular health.
So now we know the potential benefits of psilocybin. Why aren't we taking this data and running with it? Turns out there's still much more research to be done regarding magic mushrooms. For one, sample sizes from these pilot studies tend to be rather small. In order to properly understand the relationship between dose and response, we need to gather a larger subject pool and collect data on them. Secondly, we need to better gauge the effect of placebo. Many studies are run open label instead of double blind. Thirdly, little is known about the long-term effects of psilocybin, particularly after multiple doses. What are the odds of relapsing? Is there potential for psilocybin tolerance? These questions remain unanswered.
So why are we talking about this now? Psilocybin might be illegal in Canada, but things are starting to change. In August of 2020, the Canadian government made a historic decision. 4 terminally ill patients were granted legal exemption to take psilocybin for pain and anxiety. In the US, psilocybin mushrooms are decriminalized in 4 major cities: Denver, Oakland, Santa Cruz, and Ann Arbor.
So, what's next? We keep asking questions and we keep learning, because psilocybin might be in your hands sooner than you think.